A poor little boy stood outside a billionaire's mansion, his hands folded, his voice calm. He said just one thing: "Don't go. Something bad will happen." She almost ignored him, but changed her mind at the last second. And that decision, it didn't just save her life, it uncovered a secret that would change everything. This isn't just a story about a warning. It's about fate, redemption, and an unexpected bond that shocked the world. It was another blistering afternoon on the dry edge of the city. A few miles away, glass towers shimmered under the harsh sun, casting long shadows. But here, just outside a grand estate with manicured lawns and iron gates, the contrast was sharp. A polished red SUV waited near the gate, its engine softly humming. The driver sat patiently, occasionally glancing toward the front door of the mansion. Inside, Alina Sterling, billionaire, strategist, and icon of composure, fastened the final button on her tailored black blazer. She adjusted her wristwatch, checked her reflection, and gave herself a firm nod. Alina didn't just lead businesses. She built empires. From tech to renewable energy, everything she touched turned to gold. And today, she was on her way to seal one of the most critical mergers of her life. But destiny had other plans. As Alina stepped onto the front steps, the click of her heels echoed across the stone path. She barely noticed a small figure standing past the security line. A young boy, no older than 10, his tattered yellow shirt clinging to his thin frame. His hands were pressed together in a pleading gesture, his eyes locked onto hers with a strange mix of urgency and calm. "Miss, please," he said softly. Alina stopped, frowning. The security guard moved forward to shoo him away, but she raised her hand. "What did you say?" The boy looked up. "Please don't go. Something bad will happen there." His tone was calm, too calm for a child that age. His lips trembled, but his gaze was steady. It unsettled her. "What place?" She asked. "The glass tower, the one with the silver lion outside." Her breath caught. That was the meeting venue, a detail known only to her top team. She crouched slightly, careful not to get too close. "Who told you that?" "No one," he whispered. "I saw it, in my sleep, just last night." Alina felt foolish listening to a child talk about dreams. And yet, a shiver ran down her spine. "You should be in school, not telling stories on the street," she said, standing again. But the boy didn't flinch. "If you go, you'll regret it," he said. She hesitated, then turned to the guard. "Take him to the Ridge Street shelter. Make sure he eats something." She slid into the car, her hand slightly trembling. As they drove off, her assistant spoke to the phone, but Alina couldn't focus. Her mind kept returning to the boy's eyes, his voice. 5 minutes later, she called out, "Turn around." The driver looked surprised, but obeyed without question. She didn't have a reason, just a feeling. It was a feeling that saved her life. An hour later, headlines broke. Explosion at Midtown office tower. Dozens hurt. Possible gas leak. She stared in disbelief. The exact time. The exact building. The same floor. "The boy," she whispered. She rushed outside, heart pounding, but he was gone. Not that day. Not the day after. She sent people looking. Asked vendors, kids, shelters. No one had seen a boy in a yellow shirt. 3 days later, her driver spotted him asleep beneath a bench behind a convenience store. She approached slowly, knelt beside him, and gently touched his arm. He stirred, eyes fluttering open. "You again," he murmured. "You saved my life," she replied. "I only told you what I saw," he said. "What's your name?" "Jalen," he said. "Come with me, Jalen." "No one's ever asked me that," he whispered. That day, she didn't just offer food or money. She brought him into her home. Many called it odd, a billionaire adopting a street boy. But what she discovered next would prove it was no coincidence. That night, she couldn't sleep. She sat at the table watching him eat, slow and cautious, scanning every corner like he expected it all to vanish. When he looked up and smiled, it was the first time she saw him truly relax. And though she didn't know it then, This boy, this stranger, would change everything. Her career, her future, her heart. Over the next 2 years, Jalen's life transformed. Alina gave him space, trust, and time. He adjusted slowly, hiding food at first, flinching at soft voices, protecting a worn-out backpack like it was treasure. She asked no questions, just treated him like family. What surprised her most was his mind. Jalen had a sharp sense of people and situations. He would say things like, "This feels wrong." And hours later, a business deal would fall apart or a stock would dip. She began calling him her little radar. He went to a private school, joined her in meetings, and soaked up knowledge. And in return, he gave her something she hadn't realized she was missing: genuine connection. One night, on the balcony, he brought up the dream. "My mom used to dream things too," he said. "Sometimes warnings, sometimes memories." "What happened to her?" Alina asked gently. "She died in a fire," he said quietly. "Old building wiring failed. We couldn't get out." She said nothing, just placed her hand on his. Weeks later, while going through old company files, Alina found a lease with a name that chilled her: Layla Boone, tenant in apartment 407, the same building that burned down over a decade ago, a property once managed by her early company. She asked Jalen carefully, "What was your mom's full name?" "Layla Boone." Her heart sank. The fire that killed Jalen's mother happened on her property, a building under her name. She told him. Jalen didn't cry. He didn't yell. He just listened. And after a long pause, he said, "Maybe this was meant to be." Alina broke down. "I'm so sorry. You saved me too," he said quietly. From that day, they weren't just guardian and child. They were family. The press eventually learned their story. Headlines read, "The boy who warned a billionaire." But they turned down interviews. This story wasn't for publicity. Instead, Alina created the Layla Initiative, named after Jalen's mother, a nonprofit that upgraded safety features in low-income buildings and educated communities on fire prevention. Jalen led it with pride. By 16, he spoke at fundraisers. By 18, he shadowed Alina at board meetings and pitched his own startup ideas. A quiet force of brilliance, humility, and purpose. At a city gala, he accepted an award beside Alina. A reporter asked, "Do you remember the day you warned her?" "I didn't know who she was." Jalen smiled. "I just knew she shouldn't go." "And now," the reporter said, "she's the reason I'm here. But more than that, she made me who I am." Later, in the car, she handed him an envelope. "What's this?" he asked. "A key," she replied. "To your office." "My what?" "The next company," she smiled. "It's yours." He stared at her. "Are you serious?" "As serious as I was the day I told you you were family." He held the key tightly, eyes misty. "I'll make you proud." "You already have," she whispered. As they drove past a glowing skyline, Alina thought back to the dusty afternoon. The fragile boy at the gate, the trembling voice that changed her life. Fate hadn't just saved her. It had brought her a son. Sometimes, the smallest voices carry the biggest truths. And one boy's warning turned into a miracle that changed 2 lives forever. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to give a thumbs up, subscribe for more emotional and unexpected stories, and tell us in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? We love hearing your stories too. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep watching.